What is good, everybody? My Paper Moon fam. It's your boy, PaperSin, back with another reaction video. This one is called The Family Who Rented an Apartment to Tear Apart Their Quote Unquote Sister. And it's by the YouTube channel Dire Trip. So this might be some sick ish, you feel me? Buckle up for safety and let's check it out. As always, link to the video and link to the channel will both be in the description below. Let's see it. Let's be prepared. Let's go. The videos on this channel contain a
wealthy young woman after.
The videos on this channel tend to revolve around crimes, horror, and strange, often disturbing stories. If you find that kind of thing disturbing, please reconsider watching this video. You have been warned.
A wealthy young woman, after financially supporting her ex-husband and his family for years, finally put her foot down. The family, enraged at this act, began to plot against her, leading to one of the most horrific crime scene discoveries in recent memory.
It's already a bad intro.
Hong Kong is normally one of the safest metropolitan areas in the world. It actually has a remarkably low crime rate for such a big city. Naturally though, the place isn't perfect, as no place is. Until recently, when people thought of Hong Kong crimes, they mainly thought back to the horrific Hello Kitty murder case. Well, unfortunately, now the country has another internationally known case of horror under their belt. This is the story of Abby Choi, a story that took the internet by storm when the horrific details of the case came to light. Abby Choi Tin Fung was born in an ordinary family on the 15th of July in 1994, the youngest of 4 daughters. At some point after she was born, her mother divorced her biological father and married her stepfather, with whom she had 2 more children, giving Abby 2 younger half-sisters. Abby's mom later made quite a chunk of change by acquiring a few construction and mining businesses in mainland China. In addition to these, her mother owned multiple high-dollar properties along with various other multi-million-dollar assets. While most of her family was somewhat secretive, Abby decided to go in a different direction. In June of 2012, when Abby turned 20 years old, she decided to get an Instagram account. She started off this account by showing off various handbags and expensive articles of clothing, often with price tags in the thousands of dollars. With her good looks and her expensive taste, she quickly gained traction and an audience started to form. With the audience came invitations to parties and high-class social events. Before too long, Abby had become what you could call a socialite. It wasn't too long before she started meeting famous celebrities and her influence started growing exponentially. She became a self-proclaimed fashionista and many well-known brands started to take notice of her. Many of them even came out to sponsor her. When Abby was still very young, at age 18, she had married a man named Alex Kwong. Alex was a man from money himself. His father had founded a company called Ramjai Yunnan Mixian, which was a well-known chain of casual restaurants throughout Hong Kong. The two went on to have 2 children together. Unfortunately, their marriage would only go on to last 3 years, ending in a divorce. Abby, though, had grown very close with Alex's family over time. Perhaps after divorcing Alex, she felt some sort of responsibility towards his family. Maybe she just wanted her kids to maintain a high standard of living no matter where they were. Either way, she decided to continue buying lavish gifts for Alex's family, even going as far as buying them a large luxury apartment in one of Hong Kong's most expensive neighborhoods, a place worth well over $8 million.
Holy shit. I mean, doesn't his family already come from money as well? Like, they have the chain of restaurants, so why do they need her, like, supporting them financially? Like, what's up with that? Also, like, I guess that's how it is in a lot of Asian countries. Like, when people marry, like, it's not just like here in America where it's like you marry just that person, or it's almost feels like you're marrying just that person, and then you know their family members are like, you know, kind of distant relatives of yours now. But in like most Asian countries, it seems like once you marry someone, you're also marrying the family, and you're just extending your personal family. Sometimes it seems like that. Obviously I don't know all about the details of it, but yeah. So, but still, like, after you divorce, all right, yeah, I guess I can see why she would feel the need to still give them gifts and stuff, but they have money too, don't they? What the fuck?
At some point after her divorce, Abby got into another relationship and remarried, this time with a man named Chris Tam. Chris was a wealthy businessman in Hong Kong. After not too long, Abby had an additional 2 more children with him.
Damn.
It seems that all 4 of the kids got along very well. As Abby and Chris were both very busy, they never did have the time to register their marriage with the government.
Ooh.
They did have a large ceremony in 2016, but they never did get around to filing the papers. Time passed. Abby's 2 sons were now aged 10 and 3, her daughters were aged 8 and 6. Alex was the father of the older 2, while Chris was the father of the younger 2.
Wait, so what does it mean in Hong Kong for like 2 people to basically be married and not have the marriage certificate signed? I wonder if that's gonna cause any like major trouble.
Despite having divorced Alex quite some time ago, Abby was still supporting both him and his parents.
Why?
Contrary to how most people might feel in these circumstances, Abby still held her ex's family in quite high regard. In fact, she referred to Alex's brother, Anthony Kwong, as her own brother as well.
That shit.
She really felt bad for Anthony, given that he had been chronically unemployed. So she decided to hire him as her own personal driver, a task which she paid him for very handsomely. Not only that, but the 2 even opened a small pancake restaurant together. It's thought that this endeavor also made the 2 quite a nice bit of cash. Abby had only grown more and more popular on social media amongst her fans. She started regularly attending Paris Fashion Week and went on to be featured in several magazines, like Elle, Harper's Bazaar, and Vogue. Abby cultivated more than 100,000 followers on Instagram over time.
Damn.
Abby engaged in all sorts of philanthropy. She didn't stick to Instagram, though, diversifying all her assets all over the place. She even co-founded an organization called Palmei's Charitable, which was a group that helped stray animals. This wasn't anywhere near her most profitable gig, though. Abby was a smart investor who profited greatly from investing in city parking lots, luxury handbags, and perhaps most of all, expensive watches. She would trade watches worth millions of dollars each, selling them whenever the prices would go up. Abby amassed a personal net worth of over 100 million Hong Kong dollars, roughly 13 million US dollars. The last time Abby would go on to be featured in a
1 second. Nah, I gotta look now because I want to find out what Hong Kong dollars. What's the currency? Hong Kong currency. Hong Kong dollar is the official currency of Hong Kong. Okay, so it is called Hong Kong dollar. Okay, oof, I did not know that.
Magazine was when she posed for the cover of a lifestyle magazine called L'Officiel Monaco. This issue praised her as a fashion icon and a trendsetter.
Damn.
Her last post on Instagram would go on to show this cover, with Abby saying, "From Hong Kong to the cover of L'Officiel Monaco, my journey as a style icon continues. Grateful for the recognition and continued support along the way." Abby's relationship with her ex-husband's family had just recently started going downhill. By now, Alex and his family had been living off of her for well over 6 years. It appeared that Abby, over time, getting a little wiser with her years, started realizing that she was being taken advantage of. She started to realize that she hadn't always been paying their way out of her own volition. In fact, she had been heavily coerced by her ex-father-in-law into buying that luxury apartment for them.
Oh my god, but why? They have their own money, don't they? Like the chain of restaurants. So why is that like greed? Like they don't want to pay for it themselves? It's like, let's see if we can get your ex-wife to pay for our new apartment as a gift. Like what? Holy shit, man. But unfortunately, it took her so long to actually realize that she was just being used. Like, she even gave her ex-husband's brother a job as her personal driver, which is kind of like, damn. But at least it's a job, and he's getting overpaid for it. And they opened up a little pancake shop that made a bunch of money as well. So again, why is she still having to financially support some people who are already well off?
Abby's ex-father-in-law, Cao Kwong, was formerly a police officer. He was, at one time, well respected. That was until he was accused of sexually assaulting a woman and lost his career.
Oh, that's why.
It was never proven whether or not the accusations were credible, but it appears they were, as Cow never contested them and willingly resigned from his job.
I wonder if the accusations also affected the chain of restaurants.
Because he decided to leave, he was never arrested and the case was swept under the rug. Alex himself was no stranger to crime either. He tended to deal with more financial-related schemes, though. At some point, he started an investment scam that he perpetuated over dating apps. He would scam men into buying large amounts of gold from him. He had also been accused of stealing all manner of luxury items from people he knew, such as jewelry and watches.
Damn.
Not only that, but Alex had gotten himself into a mountain of debt with his irresponsible spending habits. It got to the point where he was even sued by his own bank. At around this time, Alex's mother declared bankruptcy as well. Abby, having had her fill of all of this, started making plans to sell the apartment she had bought for the family.
Well, I guess that's why, if you grow up and you're able to make some money, you don't teach your children responsible spending or like the value of a dollar, then I guess, shit like that's bound to happen. They're bound to have bad spending habits and drain up your resources.
Although she had paid for it, it was registered under Cow's name, which complicated things. They had originally went through this arrangement to avoid paying additional taxes, but now it was coming back to bite her. Cow did not want to move and staunchly opposed her decision to sell the place. At one point, he even threatened to violently end her life if she did.
Oh, shit.
Abby was scared and sought some legal help to sort out this whole ordeal. But even despite all of this, she still planned on buying the family a new, albeit cheaper, home with some of the earnings from the sale. That wasn't quite enough for Alex's family, though.
Wow.
These financial rearrangements angered them greatly. They were so angry, in fact, that they started to mull around the idea of actually going through with killing her. Soon enough, they were outright plotting her murder. It was at this point that Cao Kwong rented out an apartment a few miles away specifically to do the deed. On February 21st of 2023, Abby Choi never showed up to pick her daughter up from school like she normally did. It was reported that she was last seen entering into the car in which she normally rode, driven by her brother, Anthony. Not only was this...
Remember, by quote, he did, if you didn't see it, he did like the quotation marks over brother. Remember, her quote-unquote brother is actually her ex-husband's brother. So it's her brother-in-law. They were just that close. And so if that whole family is already plotting to end her just because she's changing their arrangements, their financial arrangements, then yeah, she walked in. As soon as she stepped into that car, it was a trap. She was trapped.
Weird enough, her social media had gone completely inactive, something very strange for someone who made a career as an influencer. Given her wealth, fame, and influence, the local police panicked and sent over 150 officers to deal with the case. It wasn't too long before the police were able to find some CCTV footage that showed that her usual car, Anthony's car, had been the one to pick her up. GPS data from her phone showed that the phone had ended up over 20 miles away in a small Taipo village. Some of the officers on the case drove out to the area and started interviewing the locals. They checked security camera footage from the area along with dashcam footage from local drivers. After all of their research, the police ended up at the ground floor of a 3-story house. It was now February 24th of 2023, 3 days after Abby had suddenly vanished. This was when the police made a grisly discovery within that house. There, they found the headless body of Abby Choi, or at least they found most of it. The ground floor of the house had been rented out and turned into what was essentially a butcher's shop. It was equipped with all manner of horrific tools for the job, such as an electric saw, a meat grinder, a hammer, and chopping utensils. The apartment was unfurnished, completely covered in plastic. The police also found face shields, raincoats, and protective outerwear to keep the killers themselves from getting covered in blood. Abby's purse, ID, and credit card were discovered lying around. Then they found, in the refrigerator, a long, slender pair of human legs. Underneath, they found various other body parts, some of which had already been cooked.
Alright, that's enough right there. Obviously, there's still another 10 minutes of this to go. So I'm sure he's gonna go over whether or not that family got caught and what they were sentenced and how they were sentenced. So if you want to see the rest of that, go ahead and follow the link below. Both links to the channel and links to the video will both be in the description below. So be sure to check out Dire Trip and let me know what you think about this video. Like, cause I'm thinking, I don't know that much about, law, Hong Kong law. But since she never signed the marriage certificate with her new husband, where did the money go that she had made? Like all the money that she had made and she had saved up, would that still go to her ex-husband's family, or would it go to her family? Or because I doubt it would go to her new husband's, because they never signed the marriage certificate. So yeah, I'm gonna watch the rest of this myself and find out what happened. As always, like I said, the link to the video and link to the channel will both be in the description below, so be sure to check out Dire Trip. And while you're there, don't forget to do those 3 things that I'd like to ask you to do, and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that. In case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace, and much love to you.